see how this works. Don't necessarily need to be going live right now, but I had a little few minutes. Okay, nobody's in here right now, so there is no questions. Some people watch these recordings, and I'm just gonna show you guys how I drink some hydrogen water. People are always asking, so I was gonna grab some water anyway. So I'll just show you what I'm doing. So the water that I'm using is very clean water, carbon distilled, obviously fully saturated with hydrogen from the Hydrofix, which means it's clean. It's kind of the whole point of it. It's extremely high quality, clean, but it's also stable. Hello, thanks for the thumbs up already. I was thirsty. So let's see here. If you have any questions, let's see, remember to guard your privacy and abide by community guidelines. Guard my privacy. Okay, it's interesting. Yeah, so if anybody has any questions, I was just had a little bit of time. I thought, okay, I'll hang out here, maybe answer some questions if anybody's got any. I'm drinking some hydrogen water. Thank you, everybody, for the support. People are always, it's funny how interested people are in these live shows. Thank you for that. Thumbs up. Yeah, it's really interesting how people just love the live stuff. So I was like, well, when I get a chance, I do it. And oh, there's more people. Do you always have your hydrogen water on? I don't. I used to. What I do now, I'll just finish this. Yeah, I don't always have it on. I have like a rhythm. Like for example, in the morning after I drink 1 liter, I know that I'm not going to be drinking water for a while, so I don't turn it on. And then as time goes by, I know I'm going to want water, at some point. So I'll hit it roughly 30 minutes, sometimes an hour, hour and a half, just rough. Just a rough gauge. I'll roughly know when I'm going to want the water, and that's when I leave it on. And if there's a question mark, I could just leave it on, but I don't leave it on like 24/7. I don't personally do that. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay, next person. Hi, you've talked before about your father and his improved glaucoma. How long did it take and how was it improved? Yeah, so the thing about my father is I think he could have got faster results from a lot of the hydrogen stuff because I never like I actually don't really like sharing this part of the story, but it's the truth. Basically, he didn't want to change anything in his lifestyle. He didn't want to change the diet. He didn't want to do, there's a lot of little things on my protocol that he didn't want to do. And so he just wanted to do clean water, clean hydrogen protocol. That's it. That's all he wanted to do. At first, I was disappointed, but then I thought, you know what? This is really going to showcase how good hydrogen, can potentially work if you don't want to make any other changes. I do think he would have got faster results. I think everything would have been better for him had he done the full protocol, but he just did the hydrogen only. And all the issues that he had went away in 6 to 8 months, except for the glaucoma. The glaucoma took 3 years. I almost gave up on it. After year 2, they still told him that he had glaucoma. And it wasn't until year 3 that I had already given up because they have to check his eyes every year. And then by year 3, it was undetectable. And then they did a second test because they didn't believe their own results. And then they did a third test. And then I think it was around the third or fourth test, they sent him, well, they made an appointment to see like one of the number one specialists in the United States because they said, this is weird. We know that this guy has glaucoma. I mean, we know we've been seeing him for like 30 years. He's a very well documented case. And as you age, things typically get worse, not better. And so it took 3 years. but I was still figuring out the protocol. I think we could have got faster results if we had done it a little differently. But he did definitely follow the hydrogen protocol quite regularly during those 3 years. And yeah, he started slacking. He's been slacking off and on throughout the years these days, but very good results. Definitely was really good for him. He had a lot of issues that medications, like I actually know somebody personally, one of their, I don't remember if it was one of their friends or family members. I think it was a family member who recently died from being on a medication. Remember, I'm not giving medical advice. I'm not making any medical claims. Everything today is just my opinion. Opinions of the speaker, no claims for or against any product or products. But anyway, this particular person died from using, I think it was meloxicam. It was some type of medication for, I think for arthritis, is if I remember correctly, and it eventually caused liver failure. And that's something that some of those medications do. I read that. That was exactly what concerned me with my father and being on certain medications that I knew were quite damaging. And what was more amazing is that not only hydrogen took care of it, he said that it actually felt better than the medications that he was using. And I was very grateful actually that it worked. And I really got to see the power of hydrogen and really see what it could do. And I've seen so many things now. You know, it's been almost like a decade or something of doing hydrogen. Give me one sec, I'll be right back. But yeah, well, you guys can probably still hear me. I got the earpiece in. It is freezing out there. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Let's see what's next. How long did it take and how was it improved? Well, it was improved with the hydrogen, but I also did use clean water. So clean water and hydrogen. So it was probably a combination. Let's see here. Monique, yes, thank you. Do you always have your hydrogen water? Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, not on all the time. Definitely not on all the time. You just have to figure it out. I don't like to leave it on I mean, you could leave it on all the time, but I don't really actually like to leave it on all the time just because I feel like it's a waste and it's unnecessary. It's all about timing, at least for me, you know. So, all about the timing. So yeah, guys. Hi, numbnuts. That's his name. Okay. Yeah, just doing a little live session here for any questions you guys might have while I'm kind of partially getting ready for bed. Actually, I just had some hydrogen water. People, you know, it's funny. People are always asking me, how do you drink hydrogen water? I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I drink it any special way, but I'm about to have more. So I'll show you guys how I do it again. I'm like, hopefully people get it. The point, the real point is all right. So as long as the machine's on standby, my water's fully saturated with hydrogen. So this is totally full of hydrogen. And it's really stable just because of the way that the machine makes this hydrogen. I don't know, I like to swish it in my mouth. Don't have to. And it's really smooth because this is also really clean water. But you'll see that I don't let it sit in the glass. I'm not going to set it down, let it sit there for 5 minutes or 10 or whatever. I used to chug it, but these days I like to enjoy it a little bit. Nothing special. That's just my, I drink the magic water. Almost want to call it magic water. Okay, thank you guys. Let's see here. So while you guys have me around, good time to ask questions. Otherwise, I'll just keep doing my daily routines. Let's see. Thanks. I have glaucoma, so I've been using just water and just start inhalation. That's one thing that I would have suggested to my father was doing more inhalation, but he wasn't doing that. It took him a while. He's doing a lot more inhalation now, though. I would recommend. I mean, there's other. Like I said, it all depends on how fast you want the results. In my opinion, I'll tell you one thing. Another really easy thing to do that's a good part of the protocol is going for a 30 minute to 1 hour walk every single day. And I don't mean like, you know, I don't mean, you know, for example, like, oh, I walked at the grocery store or something like that. I mean, like, you specifically went outside and walked for 30 minutes and a brisk walk, 30 minutes to 1 hour. It's important. It helps move the lymphatic fluid and stuff. So, okay, next question. We are new to this, not seen any results yet. Does it help with indigestion? Well, it can. It just depends. Now, granted, for indigestion, it just depends. A lot of times it's the food you eat. Um, I might almost, again, none of this is medical advice, but I don't know. I might almost do some bile salts for like a month or two, but just trying to get you back in your equilibrium. But yeah, there's ways. See, I think that there's ways to accelerate the healing. Hydrogen, if you just rely solely on hydrogen, I think that eventually, yeah, you will get results, in my opinion, but it will just take a while. Well, it depends on what it is too. I've seen some people get results really quick, actually. I notice it just depends. I mean, my dad's a perfect example. He had results on all his issues in 6 to 8 months, but the glaucoma took 3 years. But one thing's for sure, hydrogen is doing its thing. I mean, I have videos like video 68 showing live blood analysis. You clearly see what it's doing to the blood. That was always a funny story because there was a doctor who didn't believe it. They literally saw that video and they're like, that's impossible. And they repeated the same exact study and the results came out exactly the same. And so, yeah, it definitely is doing its magic. But I always caution people on things like your source water. People don't think that their water's no good, but I think most people's water is no good. So you always want to clean that up because if there's something in there that's also affecting you. I remember a different doctor who asked for my help. Um, I think that her issue was primarily coming from her water, and she was doing the hydrogen, and the machine ended up getting all mucked up and gunked up. I have a really interesting picture of it. That's one thing that I actually like about the Hydrofix is that it'll expose the quality of your water, and that really, really surprised me that it would do that. I don't think it was like intentionally, but I have learned that the Hydrofix will expose the quality of your water, which is what it did with this particular physician. And so, you know, I'm going to refill my unit now because I think I've had enough to drink for tonight. But you know what? Now that I think about it, actually, I think I'm going to run it more. Sometimes I won't even fill it up all the way because, well, the less water that's in there, the faster it'll fully saturate. And so if I know I'm not going to drink the whole pitcher, then there's really no point. Okay, oh, look at this. One of these stink bugs. I don't know if you guys have that issue around where you're at, but I gotta put that thing in the trash. Okay. I used distilled water. Yeah, and that's what I would do. I use carbon distilled. I don't know if you buy it from the store or make it yourself, but I personally highly recommend to make it yourself because I don't trust the stuff from the store. Not that it's not distilled, but it just sits in those plastic jugs forever, and that's not a high quality polymer. If it was a high quality polymer, it'd be one thing, but not a high quality. Check this out. I don't know if you guys can see it. See a little bug in there? A little critter. See him? Anyway, these little stink bugs, I'm going to flush him down the toilet. There you go. Those little critters will be flying around here at night and fly right into my mouth while I'm sleeping or something. And I'm supposed to be fasting. I'm actually fasting right now. So, I mean, I do not want them giving me unnecessary calories. Kind of kidding, but let's see here. Okay. Joe, I've been using hydrogen water with my father who has Alzheimer's since September. The results are subtle but excellent. Do you think adding inhalation would see further improvement? Oh, dude, absolutely. Yeah, Joe, in my opinion, of course, everything's my opinion here. Nothing's a claim or a medical advice. But yes, for Alzheimer's and dementia, you definitely want to do inhalation. You want to do the water and then do the inhalation right afterwards. If his kidneys are healthy, if it were me, I would drink empty stomach, 1 liter. And then I would do inhalation for at least an hour and a half. Dementia and Alzheimer's, what appears to be being discovered about Alzheimer's and dementia is that you could have one person who they say, hey, they got dementia, and you got another guy or girl, they got dementia, and they could literally be both caused from different things. One person could actually be a certain type of toxin. Somebody else, it could be, a different neurological issue, even certain ducts that are clogged up. That's why I recommend something that really cleans your blood. A lot of people don't agree with me, but I'm actually planning on potentially. I was actually just talking to somebody before I did this live thing right now. I was thinking about doing a podcast with a lot of the people who I've been speaking to throughout the years who've tried my protocols, and they could share their results and whatever. So yeah, that's what I was thinking about doing. And basically, a diet that I don't know if you guys are aware of this. For people with Alzheimer's and dementia, I've seen scans where they have their like a blood vessel, and they're literally mucked up with what looks like just like almost looks like a cholesterol or a fatty deposit, and you want the blood getting through there. And that's the reason that I recommend a certain type of quote unquote diet that a lot of people don't like to do, but it's worked really well for some people. Okay, let's see. Hopefully that answered your question. All gold. I use this distilled with concentrace that I think you recommend. Yeah, that's what I do. I really like it. I'm happy with it. I've been, let's see, Numbnuts. Oh, sorry, that's his name. I'm just reading this guy's name. Numbnuts says, been on hydrogen water for 3 months, and so far my vision has improved. That's awesome. I've actually heard that a lot. Even my own father, vision improved. A little black and annoying dot in my vision, and floaters are now gone. Oh, good for you, brother. I no longer have to get close to my phone to read things. Hey, there you go. That's awesome. Make sure to stay on top. I think it's video 397, maybe 398, but I think it's 397. If any of you are in this room, thanks for all the thumbs up, by the way. If anybody in this room has not watched that video, please watch it. I feel like it's one of the most, I mean, I put a lot of other good stuff out there, but it's one of the more important ones because this thing needs to be cleaned a certain way. Even I didn't know. And I found some new things about how to clean it. And it's important because you want your hydrogen and your water to stay clean. You don't want it to get contaminated with time. It's kind of like having a glass that you never wash. You want to wash it at some point. Okay, Numbnuts also says all chest pain gone from anxiety is gone. Dude, that's one that I haven't talked about much. But anxiety, stress, there is actually some interesting research. Oh, you're welcome, Joe. There is some interesting research, and actually, you know what? Going back to, let's see, was that Joe who was asking earlier? Joe, yes, about your father with Alzheimer's. I mean, the other thing I would do for your father, Joe, I mean, if it were me, again, this is not advice, it's just what I would do. I don't know what time he goes to bed. Let's say he goes to bed at 9 or 10 or 11 or whatever time he goes to bed. Try to have dinner earlier, like finish by 5 or finish by 6. Don't let him eat anything from 5 or 6 till, the next morning, as late as you can go. I mean, I'm going from 5. I finish dinner around 5, and I'm not eating usually till around noon. Noon is when I have my morning smoothie, just to give your body time to clean things up. But it's okay to give him hydrogen water and inhalation. I think that could potentially accelerate the recovery. And don't let him eat any seafood if he's eating seafood. That particular toxin that I've discovered is affecting some people and giving them what appears to be Alzheimer's symptoms or dementia symptoms. One of the main sources appears to be coming from seafood. So, try to avoid that and see if that helps. That's what I would do. Well, thanks again, guys. Everybody's giving a thumbs up. Thank you. That's always very kind. Appreciate it. All right. So hopefully, Joe Hawkins, that will help. All right. Yeah, because there's some people who have gotten super fast results for dementia and Alzheimer's, and I was pretty shocked. And so I think I really do think it depends on the person. But I always think you should clean up your veins, capillaries, arteries, like just really, really clean. And I think that's important. Let's see, refractor, UV light, or silver cloth looks a safe way to kill bacteria on Hydrofix without chemicals. I think the citric acid kills bacteria. Yeah, the citric acid is designed to kill a lot of stuff. but still watch video 397 because there's a way that I learned to wipe the machine and clean out little nicks and crannies. And dude, there was stuff on even on mine, but I hadn't cleaned mine for like 4 or 5 months, and I think, and it was pretty clean. It still had some of the gunk on there. I actually just visited somebody that I know who has a Hydrofix, and I said, "Did you watch my video?" And she said, "No." And I was like, "You got to watch these my videos, because there's a reason that I direct people." And I took her picture, and hers was just gross. I should have showed it to you guys. It was so dirty. She was like, "Oh my God." And I was like, "Yeah, you got to stay on top of cleaning it." She clearly doesn't clean it enough. And I think it's important. Well, of course it's important. You got to keep it clean. Just like a filter for your water filters, and even your distillers, you got to keep them clean. Um, Stuff like that. Well, even your computers can get all dusty, and you got to spray and stuff. So right now, this is off subject, but right now I'm on a really old phone, and I finally broke down and ordered a new one. So I should have a new one within about a week or less, all set up. And I don't think the camera will be much better, but who knows? Maybe you guys will notice the difference or whatever. But this whole time I've been using just an old crappy phone. But actually, I'm happy with it. I don't think it's crappy, but everybody says that my phone is not very nice. People who know me. Okay. Let's see here. Next question. Oh, Refractor. Yeah, good to see you. Refractor OG, original gangster. All right. Okay. Thank you again for all the thumbs up, guys. And anybody have any other questions before I check out? Not check out, but shut down the live stream. I noticed there's a new option on here. It says I can live stream with others. So I'm not sure if that means that if I open up a live stream that all you guys could like jump in and talk to. That'd be crazy. That'd be interesting actually. But I am planning on trying to do a podcast soon. Um, I thought it might be good for people to hear. I mean, I've tried to get. I just don't know how to do a podcast. Actually, I don't know how to set it up on my phone. I don't know how long my phone could record for. I just don't know how it would work. But I'm going to give it a try here in the next less than a month. I spoke to a guy who I know who apparently had a type of cancer, and he actually was one of the few people who followed my full protocol. In fact, he was telling me that he shared my protocol with a guy who had brain cancer, and the guy was apparently doing quite well. And then he slacked. He majorly slacked. He started doing all sorts of things that he shouldn't, and then the cancer moved super fast, and then he died. And that's what he was telling me today. He was like, "Yeah, dude, the moment he stopped doing the protocol, the moment he started slacking, and he said it all really progressed really fast. He was doing so good." Um, and thanks again, guys. I've seen people giving thumbs up, so thanks for that again. I don't know. I don't know if it helps the algorithm, but I don't know. I think it does. Okay, so let's see, guys. Okay. If you got again, if you have questions, this is the time. Thanks for the dietary advice. I think it would be great if you collected any info that people send to you, dementia, Alzheimer's. I tried all manner of alternative methods. Well, I have. I have. Oh, you want to collect the info? Yeah, I mean, I showed some pictures in an older video about somebody who had really great results. I mean, I think fasting, I think intermediate fasting. I'll tell you one thing. One of the biggest secrets, and you guys are hearing it now, and who knows if I'll leave this video up because I tend to delete these live ones. But I will say that I think one of my secrets is what I call the hydrogen fast. The hydrogen fast is like a secret, super, super cool secret. The only thing about fasting is you got to make sure that you are making sure that you're getting your nutrients. One thing that I personally like to do if I'm going to prepare my body for a fast is just load up on nutrients. Like I've been loading up on like my vitamin D. I use a powder called Purium. I put it into my smoothies, and in fact, I just went to the doctor. I think it was yesterday. I just had a bunch of blood drawn. They wanted to do some fasting blood draws, which is exactly what I wanted because I wanted to measure everything and see where everything's at. One of the things that I'm looking to do Protocol for depression. Yeah, sure. I'll tell you that in a second. Because I suffered from really bad depression actually. But anyway, so I went to go get all this stuff done, and then all the numbers are in. I'm going to talk to them tomorrow because I want to see not only that I'm good, and I keep checking throughout the years, and my numbers have actually been really good. The one that I'm really, really hyper focused on though is going to be testosterone because I'm going to start a protocol that I've envisioned and invented basically in my head, and I'm going to put it to the test. But it's going to be a long one. It's going to be like I'm going to do it for at least a good 3 to 6 months, and then I'll do the blood work again. Feeling pretty confident. I think I know it's going to work, but I'm going to do it to make sure it works. And if it does, I'll share it with you guys because it's not just for testosterone. I think it will help women also. It's just going to be good for making natural youth hormones. Okay, so do you have a depression protocol? Yeah, the interesting thing, let's see here. The thing about depression is it's not, in my opinion, it's not something you can just put in a box. So you can't just say, okay, you're depressed, here's a pill. I don't believe in that personally. Again, not medical advice, my own opinion, because I went through some really, really, really major depression as a child. And it was pretty horrendous. I mean, I think I've shared before, but I mean, it was so bad that I literally tried to take my life multiple times. Could have been one of the reasons that I caused myself some medical issues because I did some pretty crazy, stupid stuff to myself. What I have found works is, well, there's already science actually. If you take a 30-minute brisk walk every day, they show that it works better than any antidepressant on the market from the pharmaceutical company. So that's an easy one. I would say 30 minutes to 1 hour. Exercise is really important for depression. Proper nutrients. Nutrients are super important because if you're deficient, it could cause depression. They've even found depression linked to testosterone levels. So again, exercise, proper nutrients are good. I love saunas are really good, but exercise, saunas. Obviously, I love hydrogen. But the difficult part is if your depression is coming from just being a bad situation. What if you're like a single mom with 20 kids or something, and you're broke and you're sick, and I mean, you're super depressed? Well, I mean, I don't think any pill's gonna fix that per se. You're just gonna have to find a way to improve your situation. So is it situational, or do you feel that it's literally biological and chemical? Is it just your state of mind? So I think it depends what is actually affecting it. I think in my case, I think it was a combination of my body not being quite right. I think I have the type of body now, maybe everybody's different, but I am sensitive. And I think my body was always screaming for clean water, clean food. Like it wanted certain things really clean. And I didn't, as a kid, I had no idea the difference between clean food, clean water, clean whatever. I didn't know the difference. And I never expected me to do what I'm doing and to improve my mood. But it has. And then, of course, good friendships, good relationships. Those things are definitely important, at least to me. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. What do you think about using zeolite with hydrogen water? Well, let's see. I've heard of the zeolite thing. I'm just not. I'm not into a lot of supplements. To be honest, I actually don't like a lot of supplements. Why? Because everything that I keep finding out about supplements actually um, really disappoints me. I keep finding impurities and stuff in them, and so I just don't trust. I try not to you know use a lot of stuff. But let's see, zeolites. I mean, what is zeolite? Is that I think actually I might have some type of mineral or something. Um, Zeolite detoxes, but is high in aluminum. It's an aluminum silicate. Um, I don't think I personally need it. So if you want to put in your hydrogen water, go for it. I mean, do you know where it's coming from? Do you know where it's sourced from? Do you really know what's in it? I mean, I'm telling you guys, I keep seeing stuff and it keeps on disappointing me. Thanks again for all the thumbs up, everybody in here. So yeah, you know, I'm not I'm not saying that it's bad. Let's see, it's a mineral that mostly contains silica, well, filled with antioxidants, antiviral properties. Well, that's funny. Um, removing toxins and heavy metals. Funny, I was just talking to a toxicologist, and they were telling me that it's so hilarious because they were telling me that a lot of people take what's the name of that stuff now? I can't. It's used to pull out heavy metals out of the body. Chelation. It's called a. I can't remember what it's called. I'm sure one of you probably know. The point is they said they use it to try to pull out heavy metals, and they've done so many studies on this stuff. They actually find heavy metals in this particular product all the time, and they thought that was hilarious. You know, people are always taking supplements. I'm not a big supplement guy anymore. The only supplements I like are my nutrients. I want my vitamin D. You know, I want my vitamin C. I want all my multivitamins basically, which I get from my Purium powder, except for my B12 and my D3 are the only things that I take separately. Zinc once in a while, but it's enough. There's enough in my powders. Um, and I've spoken to some of the owners and where they're sourcing the food, and that's why they call them Purium. They're really into purity. Everything that I'm into, I just realized is all about purity. Purium's about purity. Um, the what was that other product I really liked? Well, the hydrogen. I mean, it's kind of funny. The word holy means to be pure, so holy hydrogen. Um, and then what was the last one that I really like? Geez, why is it slipping my mind? Um, oh, the water, mypurewater.com. Again, the word pure. It's just kind of funny. Oh wow, thanks for all the thumbs up, guys. Okay, let's see here. What's the longest water fast you have done with hydrogen water? Well, the longest one, I went like I went like 15, 16 days, and then I did what's called a dry fast after that, where I went with no water for like 3 days. Um, yeah, I passed out by accident. I hit my head. It was stupid. I was doing yoga. Probably shouldn't have been doing yoga. I should have been taking it easy. I was trying to walk. I was at the beach and I was like, literally a walk that would have taken me, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes would take me like an hour and a half. I was moving so slow. I was like in slow motion. I was exhausted. I couldn't move because I had no food in me. Okay. Refractor, chlorella. Yeah, I'm down with chlorella. Humic activated charcoal. Yeah, those are good ones. NaC. Yep, it pulls metals from the body. You know what's funny? All this pulling metals out of the body thing. What I've discovered through a lot of my research is massive amounts of fiber, which I get from my big smoothies, a lot of good hydrogen water. I mean, my understanding from what I've seen is that pulls all these metals out of the body, and then just try to avoid things that bring metals in. Avoid the seafoods. You know, I avoid a lot of other foods too. I mean, it's mostly just fruits and vegetables. So nuts, seeds, beans, all that stuff. Okay, let's see here. What is the powder you just mentioned that you use for nutrients? I also don't have any trust in synthetic supplements. Yeah, Tracy, I'm telling you, the more I see, the more I distrust them. But the powder is called Purium. That's the brand. You can find it at ishoppurium.com. I think you get $50 off if you use this code, which is uprising144K, the same as my channel. But the product that I like from there, there's a few that I like already. One is called Power Shake. That was the one with all the nutrients. They call it Power Shake. It really should be like some type of like multivitamin powder because it has just about all the nutrients you want. And then if you want extra protein, they have one called Berry Protein, but it's berry spelled with a B as in boy, ERRY. And it smells like berries. It's made of cherries and raspberries. Like they got protein out of all these berries. And I've been throwing that in my smoothie lately, and it's really good. I really like their products. They're good stuff. Refractor, I was asking because you were thinking of chelators. Oh, they can be risky because they pick up contaminants. Yeah, I like lab tested chlorella. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I have a few sources that I trust, but for the most part, I mean, when I go to Japan, I'm just going to be. Oh, you're welcome, Tracy. I'm just going to be. I'm going to be probably eating a little more old school uh, Japanese food. I'm going to be eating probably a lot of just natto and steamed rice and tofu and a lot of different vegetables and roots vegetables and something called skimon, a lot of fermented vegetables. Um, is it okay to implement red wine once in a while? You know, I got to tell you, whoever Bry, in my opinion, I don't think red wine is what it used to be, like back in the day. And I say that because, again, I'm quite sensitive. And when I drink red wine, I do not feel good. And it's not normal. I have a friend who was growing his own wine. It was really interesting. It was actually, it would naturally naturally carbonate. Like it would be, it'd be carbonation in it naturally, um, almost like from the fermentation or whatnot. And his wine was so good. I really enjoyed it. But the wines they have, like when I go to like a vineyard and I want to do some wine tasting, I mean the wine is so rich and so full of tannins, and they're just, I think they've gone overboard. And I mean, yeah, it tastes really great, and I do like it, but it's just too much. Can you have some once in a while? I mean, the research shows that alcohol actually is not very good for us. I mean, that's what the data shows. Does it mean that I never drink? No, I do drink once in a while, but I make sure to have like a really good sized glass of hydrogen water before I drink. And according to the data, I'm probably mostly a fan of the number one alcohol for health, which I'm not saying any of them are good for your health really, but the number one is silver 100% agave tequila. For some reason, tequila is number one. I think number two is vodka if it's made properly, because there's different ways to make vodka. And then, of course, you've got like the wine and stuff. But the wine is just, I don't think it's what it used to be. I actually know some people who, yeah, would do wine and, you know, so it's kind of weird. But you know what? There is research on this, Bry, and I follow it, and I definitely noticed the difference. If I ever want to have a drink sometimes with friends, and beer is one of the worst ones, which is crazy. I used to actually enjoy beer, and if I drink beer these days, I don't tolerate it very well anymore. I don't know why. I just don't feel so good anymore. But I'll put like frozen blueberries, and I'll put some chia seeds because alcohol dehydrates you. And I put like some strawberries, everything frozen. I use them as ice cubes. And I'll put tequila, but I'll put orange juice because there were studies when you mix it with fruit, it significantly diminishes a lot of the negative effects of the alcohol. So that's very interesting. And then I just use carbonated water. I make like a fun little drink with it. I really enjoy it when I decide to drink. Okay, Dale, thumbs up. Thank you, brother. I don't know why though. I must have said something earlier. Oh yeah, pulling heavy metals. Yeah, I would just do a lot of smoothies is what I would do, and I would do a lot of hydrogen water. Okay, but yeah, let's see. Do you have a source for nattokinase that you feel good about? Well, Tracy, nattokinase is an enzyme, and me personally, I just use the raw material. I use natto. Natto has nattokinase in it, and it's an actual food, and it also has vitamin K, and it has a bunch of other benefits, highly anti-cancerous. The Japanese have done extensive research on natto and nattokinase, and it's wild. And I'll be talking about it more in the very, very near future. So thanks again for all the thumbs up. Everybody's doing thumbs up. Thank you guys. Okay. Um, Joe Hawkins, is it common to experience detox when first starting hydrogen? Yeah, quite a few people experience detox. Some people don't. It depends on what's in your body. I did know people who used to be drug addicts, and definitely suffered more side effects than most people, but eventually goes away and it's not too bad. Bry, nice, thanks. Okay, you're welcome. Tracy, I think there is often mold or mildew on the grapes sometimes. I can tell as I am allergic, though I don't drink anything anymore. Yeah, I would agree with you, Tracy. Something's not right with wine these days. I mean, can I go have some? I could. Like I said, I load up on my hydrogen water. I get properly hydrated. That's a big thing because alcohol it dehydrates me. But I can enjoy a good wine tasting, and the way that I care for my body, I tolerate it well. But if I do it, I can't do it back to back days. That I mean, I could, but I don't like to. But hydrogen is my little secret for that. And there's data on it too, how protective it is against alcohol. Okay, Dale G. Yep. Is it good? Alpha lipoic acid. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not good, Dale. Again, the way that I do things, I tend to stay away from too many supplements. Most of my stuff is about nutrition based and diet based, fasting, hydrogen water, super clean water. I don't tend to do a lot of other supplements unless there's like a reason. Like I am using some bile salts right now, just kind of trying it out. I haven't talked about it at all yet, but I'm trying it out, and it seems interesting. So I was actually doing that for a friend I think it might help. Okay, refractor, melatonin and sleep herbs. I like to avoid dependence, and I think everyone is doing. Uh, I think everybody is doing on melatonin regularly. Yeah, it's funny. I just spoke to a guy who I met a few years back who had a company. I won't go into the details, but I really wish I could, but I'm not going to do it just to be nice because, anyway, it's a long story. Point is, this particular guy wanted to start an herb company, and he kept testing the herbs, and they were all contaminated. He's like, "What? He just couldn't get herbs that weren't contaminated with stuff." And I think he was getting most of the stuff from China. And he said, "You know what? I can't do this." He goes, "I can't have a business selling herbs, telling people it's going to be good for them, when every time I lab test this stuff, it ain't coming out very good." And see, this is what I've been telling you guys. Um, just like tea, if you like tea or if you're on green tea, I don't know if you guys seen the lab testing. I've seen a lot of it. Get Japanese stuff. Don't get anything from China. It ain't worth it. Not if you're trying to do it for your health, at least. All right. So, okay, guys. Any other questions while I'm on? Can you recommend what brand on bile salts do you use? You know what I did is I looked for extra strength bile salts. I tried the Eric Berg one. That's the one that I'm using. I look at the ingredients. That's the one that I liked. Just got it off Amazon. I'm taking it different than what they typically recommend, but I do think they have different recommendations depending on what you want to do it for. I'm taking an empty stomach in the morning with my hydrogen water, and then I'm taking it empty stomach. In fact, I'm going to take some. Like I could take it right now, because actually I'm empty stomach right now. Like I said, I've been doing some fasting, and yeah, this is the one that I'm actually using right now. But I didn't do a ton of research. I found extra strength, and that's what I wanted. Extra strength. Eric Berg's well known online, and and he's a nice guy. And I'm not saying that the stuff he recommends is no good, but he I would probably do a few things differently. But it's important to understand why I would do things differently. But there's a lot of things that I like that he's into, and so I'm just gonna take one pill with my hydrogen water. And of course, I think the hydrogen enhances it. So that's the thing I've been finding, not just hydrogen, but hydration. So I've just found that it really enhances things. Now, see, I am kind of there's certain foods that I like to stick to, but this technically is not vegan. People always like, "Oh, you're vegan." They give me a hard time sometimes. I'm technically not vegan if you want to really get down to it. I mean, I don't eat meat. I don't eat eggs, but I'll eat eggs once in a while, like I don't know, once every 3 months maybe, when my body, like I'll just give myself, because there's good nutrients in eggs, but I don't think that I should be doing it every day, because what happens is the way that I envision it is that you got the stuff floating through your blood, and it takes time for your body to like deal with it and clear it out. And if you eat like eggs for breakfast and then a sausage McMuffin for lunch and then a steak dinner, it's too much overload, too much protein. The data is not good on protein. It's actually really hard on the kidneys. Mm. My goal is always to try to get as many nutrients as I can so that I don't have deficiencies, but making it easy on my body. So I want really, really easy things to digest. And I tend to go off of research. Like I've never found research where when people eat a steak that it's anti-cancerous. But I have seen blueberries be anti-cancerous, strawberries be anti-cancerous. Uh, Green tea is another really good one. So somebody's mentioning white tea. I'm more with about the green tea just because of the data. So I tend to do things like that. Um, would I ever have meat again? I'm not going to say no, but one thing that I am planning on doing, and I'm actually pretty excited about it, but is you can use meat and bone from beef. I won't do it from pork. Pork is done. I will never touch pork ever in my life. I'm done with pork. The data is way too scary and it ain't worth it. And I'm done with pork. But beef, for example, in Japan, they make these soups where they pull all this stuff out of the bone and the meat, and they just make this broth that's like so unreal. And I haven't had anything like that in a very long time. And I would have the broth with a bunch of vegetables and noodles. So I would totally do that. Stuff like that. Would I do it daily? No. But do I think that I'll get some good nutrients from it? Yes. So it's all about balance for me. You know, I typically eat very clean, very healthy once in a while, and then I'll bring in certain proteins once in a while, but I won't do it regularly. Okay, I don't know if that all makes sense, but all right. Joe Hawkins, I've noticed my appetite has increased greatly since starting hydrogen. I've read it increases ghrelin. Yes, that's only the water though, not the gas won't do that. Might, but so far the data doesn't show that. But also hydro is good for weight loss. Yeah, because hydrogen also helps with regulate your metabolism. There was a woman who was like, I don't know, I don't even want to say her weight, but I'll just say that when you start getting overweight, it confuses your body. In fact, one of the more interesting things that recently came out in some studies is showing random inflammatory signals in the body when you're overweight. And so the hydrogen, I believe, begins to regulate that, stop those inflammatory signals, and begins to regulate your metabolism again. And then people start losing weight. But if you're like really, really thin already, is it going to do that? I don't think so. Hydrogen just seems to be like the great balancer. That's what I've discovered about hydrogen. The great balancer. So it might affect one person one way, a different person another way. And it's just trying to bring everything into homeostasis. So yeah, I don't know if that really answers your question, but yeah, I mean, if you have an increase in appetite, you know, for some people, it might decrease their appetite. Maybe somebody needs to eat less. Maybe it's letting you know that you need to eat more, you know, I don't know. But that's the biggest thing that I think I've uncovered about hydrogen is that it's just a balancer. And that's what ultimately we need. We need something to bring balance, you know, to our bodies and even just to life in general. And that's the way I try to eat too. I try to eat really clean, really healthy, but I'll do things that I'm not supposed to, you know, I will. I probably shouldn't, but like when I'm hanging out with, again, being social or hanging out with friends, you know, I don't want to be a huge party pooper, but I'm definitely not going to be putting down the amount of beers that a lot of my friends do. I'm like, no, I can't do that. And I won't like smoke a cigarette or anything like that. I'm not going to do that. It's just gross to me. But yeah, sometimes, you know, little cheat days, like sometimes cheat days for me are like having, like sometimes I'll go to like I'll have food at a restaurant. That's very rare, but I'll do that sometimes because I know the restaurant food always makes me feel weird. There's certain restaurants that I have to find, and but yeah, so I have cheat days, but they're rare. Actually, they're very rare. Most people think I'm crazy. You know, who was saying that? Like my mother was telling me that she's like, you're too extreme. I'm like, really? Like I know what extreme is. I'm not extreme. I'm probably doing things the way that I think it's just what's best for the body, and it's working. It's working for me. I'm very very happy with it. I'm very grateful that I don't know how I discovered all this stuff. Sometimes it's very weird. Never a health nut. Never into the health thing. And but my protocols seem to work. That's why I want to start doing the podcasting and sharing people who've used my protocol and showing that it works for like the craziest stuff. It's just weird. I never expected my protocols to be doing what I've been seeing them do. So um, yeah. So great answer. Thanks, Joe Hawkins. Yeah, you're welcome, brother. Yeah, you know, I can tell you one thing. The body likes to be hydrated. Stay hydrated, bring in that hydrogen, you know. Let's see here. Dream Labyrinth. Do you think drinking hydrogen water will help someone that urinates an excess amount times a day? Maybe it's because of an enlarged prostate, but how would you go about fixing that situation? Well, what I would do, if it's related to inflammation, you have to try to figure out this is one thing that I don't think people realize. After so many people, hold on. Okay, thought I heard something. Out of so many phone calls that I've done throughout so many years, I've noticed that I would say well over 80% of people who have certain issues, like you're asking me about one, the majority of it is self-induced. And so it's something that you're typically doing to yourself, but you don't realize it. So first, I always go for the water. Clean your water. I've known there's too many things in our water. If you want to go after the big thing that's probably affecting you, clean your water. Two, hydration. People are not hydrated enough. If you're going to drink clean water, you might as well make it hydrogen water because this is just next level. I mean, hydrogen is just next level. It just does, you know, really crazy stuff. So clean water, hydrogen water, and then start eliminating things. You know, start eliminating certain foods that are garbage, and try to bring down your stress if that's possible. You know, less stress in your life. Like, why get a new car if the $500 monthly payment's going to stress you out? Don't do that. You know, like I've had some pretty fancy cars when I was younger, just because I'm a car nut. But you know what I realized is that they always stress me out. You know, having scared that they're going to get a scratch or a little dent, and I just would get way too stressed. And these days I live a very like I'm very different these days than what I used to be. I'm really more. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I'm a lot more of like a monk. You know, I'm a total minimalist. Um, I don't really have much. I don't. I don't have almost anything. I only have one belonging, and it's a beat up, crappy minivan. That's all I have, and my hydrogen machine, oh, and anything just for my health. The hydrogen machine, the distiller, an iPhone, you know, whatever. Um, so the most important thing to me now is health and happiness. You know, good people in my life, me trying to be good. I mean, these are just way more important to me anymore these days. And I just want the best for people, and I want the best for myself too. I want the best for everybody. I don't know if that. I don't know where I went with that. Let's see. What were they asking me? Well, let's see. Oh, the enlarged prostate thing. So I would definitely eliminate all dairy, all meat, um, all seafood, and I would definitely try to eat as much organic as possible. Try to get rid of these pesticides in your life. Um, I would. What else would I do? Sleep proper hours. Don't eat before bed. That's a bad one. It's really important to go to bed on an empty stomach and let your body rest, so it can actually recuperate. And make sure you gain all the nutrients that you really need. And I would do saunas, you know, if you have access to them. Yeah, I mean, that's some basic stuff, but don't eat anything fried either. Nothing with heated oil. I don't care if it's olive oil, coconut oil, it doesn't matter. Do not cook with oil. Everything should be steamed, fermented, boiled, or raw. I guess you could bake stuff too if you want, but all right. Hopefully that answers your question, Mr. Dream Labyrinth. And then Old Gold says, you're not extreme, you're specific. Yeah, I don't think I'm extreme. I know what extreme. I've done extreme, so I know what extreme is. And I definitely am not extreme. But to other people, it seems that way because their lifestyles are just so bad. There's a lot of people with terrible lifestyles. So I mean, you know, and you know, you do have to be a little extreme because we live in a day and age where our water's all dirty and our food's all full of crap, and just got to be really cautious out there. Okay, seek truth now. Hi, Greg. Have you done a video on parasite protocol? I have. Um, Many. They all got me almost kicked off um, of where we're on right now. And they all got deleted, removed. I can't talk about it, guys. Sorry. If I talk about it, I get in trouble. I need to figure out how to upload videos onto Rumble. I can talk about it maybe in the future, but I definitely have a parasite protocol or anti-parasitic protocol. It's very important. Um, that's one of the reasons that I don't eat a lot of the meat. Definitely pork. I really try to avoid seafood for the most part, even though I love that stuff. I mean, I love a lot of those foods, but it's too important for me to try to stay, like I said, I'm like a monk. I want to keep my body, my temple as clean as possible and parasite free because I've done a lot of cleansings where I got a lot of the parasites out and it did something to my head. Like it literally like felt like something unplugged and I was able to think clear, see things clear, be more happy. Somebody was asking about depression earlier. It affected me in a major way. That's why I never wanted to go back, even though I still get tempted. But my happiness is always more important than temporary happiness from food or something. So I'm happy these days with it's the craziest thing. I love my smoothies. A lot of people think I'm crazy for liking my smoothies, people I know. But you know what? Once they all try it, they all want it all the time too. I mean, I'm literally having to make it for other people right now. And yeah, it's not, it would be nicer if I just made it for myself. It's enough work to do it just for me, but it's okay. I care about these people, so I'll do it. All right, what's next? Next person, Ablaze says, can you use hydrogen water to wash out your sinuses? I have the Hydrofix and just got my distiller that you suggested. Does it help with common colds? In my opinion, I would. Yeah, I would take the distilled water. Now, that's one of the awesome reasons to having your own carbon distiller, because you can make water that you can do different things with it. For the person who was asking about glaucoma, if you had distilled water and your machine was really clean and you fill it with hydrogen, you can put drops in your eyes. For the sinuses, you would take that water and you would put some saline. So there's little saline packets for the neti pots. Make sure you got saline. I would put a super tiny amount. I could show you. I have a kit that I created. I'll show it to you guys if you want. Oh wait, wrong room. I have a kit that I have for like when you catch colds or all sorts of different stuff. And it's like one of my favorite things that I have. And I have it literally everything in a box because I use this stuff. And what I have here is first food grade. I don't know, the lighting is not good, but food grade hydrogen peroxide. I have this in a really thick plastic because this stuff is 40%. This stuff is dangerous. You better know what you're doing when you use something like this. This stuff will burn. And so, but it's so good if you know how to use it. This is a great tool to have in your house. Always have, in my opinion, food grade hydrogen peroxide. I'll take my little neti pot, which I have here in my little plastic bag, and I will take a little, this is 1/4 of a teaspoon, and I won't even fill it up all the way. I'll probably fill it up about maybe halfway or a little bit more. Just not super, like not to the rim, but just a little less. It's not a big deal. It's not going to hurt that much. And when you have the water level that you need in the neti pot, and I put just a tiny splash of this food grade hydrogen peroxide with the distilled water and the saline. And remember, not medical advice, but you pour that through your sinuses. Food grade hydrogen peroxide is an additional oxygen molecule. It oxidizes stuff. It kills stuff. Sometimes I have in my little kit here, of course, I have my povidone iodine. This one's 10%. You better know what you're doing with this stuff, but this one you can gargle with for certain stuff when you get something in your throat. To clean out the sinuses, clear out the throat. I make a little mixture of my own that I always have here. And I got a bunch of stuff in here, but that's what I would do. Yeah, so I have one of these, my little box of goodies. But I prefer not to get a cold. I just prefer not to get it. If I think that I ran into someone or something where I think I might have a cold, I will clean up my sinuses right away. I don't want it to root in there. And I'll gargle. That's what the Japanese are saying to do in the schools. They gargle. You say A-E-I-O-U, all the vowels like 3 times, and gargle and then clean out the sinuses and stuff. And avoid sugars. Don't be eating processed sugar, no Coca-Colas or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. If it doesn't, ask more. We'll see. I'm going to be getting off here soon, but let's see. I want to answer you guys' questions. Can you use hydrogen water to wash your sinuses? Oh, yeah, I think you could. Yeah. You don't have to use hydrogen water, though, for that because it's not really an oxidant, but you could probably do it. It wouldn't hurt. I don't think it's the worst thing. Dream Labyrinth. I thought about getting an infrared sauna. What would that be good? And thank you for your answer on the prostate question. I would, if you can afford it and you got a proper place for it. Heck yeah, either that or get a membership somewhere that has a sauna so you don't have to maintain it. But saunas are freaking awesome. And the skin is the largest organ of the human body, and it functions a lot like a kidney. So when you sweat, it really helps purify things and takes the load off the body. That's part of my protocols, by the way, is taking the load off the body in very specific ways. I found that gives the body excess energy to heal. And thanks for all the thumbs up again. Everybody's doing that. Thanks. Okay, let's just go to the next one. Dale Rumble, I like to see those parasite videos too. Yeah, that one, those took me a long time to figure out dosing, sourcing, how to use it. In fact, yeah. Okay, Gold 590 says people either need to be sick or optimization minded to focus on a healthy lifestyle. That's a minority of people. Most are too comfortable to challenge their habits. Oh, for sure. I get that. Nobody likes to change, brother. All right, Gold 590. I hear fixing terrain, balancing minerals, and raising cell voltage would naturally make the body inhospitable to parasites. Gold 590, yes and no. I know that that's the popular way. That's the narrative right now on the internet, um, but you're partially right. Fixing the terrain, yeah, your gut health. That's the reason I'm like all about the fruits and vegetables. It feeds good gut flora, and the hydrogen's really good for gut flora. The water, the hydrogen gas inhalation is different, but I do both. So yes, you want to create an environment. I mean, there's literally a study that showed that when you were doing hydrogen, the parasitic numbers went down a lot in the liver, and I thought that was really interesting. And it's not because it kills parasites, but because you're creating a terrain, like you're saying, that parasites don't like. Um, that's why I also don't like to eat certain foods that would have a lot of metals. Like you should see the study I just saw on seafood and the amount of metal in it. Oh my goodness, it's unbelievable. One fish, um, massive amounts of mercury. One fish, unbelievable. A woman would eat one fish a week. It was this whole study on pregnant women. It was crazy. Way more mercury than even the. Well, actually, I'm not going to say the word because it'll get me in trouble. Okay, moving on. But yes, and then as far as balancing your minerals, yeah, minerals are great. Again, fruits and vegetables, a lot of minerals in there. I add more minerals to it. Data shows you combine the fibers with all the minerals, they actually work even better within the body. And you're talking about the increasing the voltage or whatever of the body, cell voltage. That really is all about the hydrogen. The hydrogen helps the mitochondrial health. There's so much data. That's how some of the first research studies were coming out as a mitochondrial Japanese specialist. So hydrogen's where it's at, and some of the other basic things that I'm doing. And yeah, it makes it more inhospitable for parasites. But don't think that you don't have parasites still. You're still going to have them. It's just I won't go into why, but everybody's got parasites. Let's put it that way. But yeah, leaving the numbers lower is great. Thanks for your help, Greg. Seek truth now. You're welcome. I don't remember what I answered for you, but you're welcome. Tracy, thanks so much, Greg. I am way past my bedtime. But before I go, do you have a video on how to clean your hydrogen machine? Yeah, watch video 397 or 398. It's one of those. And some of my other previous ones. See, I have a video where I show how to wash the pitcher. I think it's video 60 something. Then I have a different video on how to do the citric acid cleanings. And then my latest one shows even beyond that. And it's so important. So, go to my YouTube channel page and go to videos and you can scroll through all of them and you'll find there's at least 3 good videos that I would suggest watching on how to clean the Hydrofix. Super important. All right. Good night, Tracy. All right. Seek truth now. I will help you upload if you want. Cheers. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. I definitely need help. I don't know what I'm doing. Bry, what's your thoughts on cold plunge? I think it's really good for you. Really good data. I'm going to be doing more of that when I go to Japan, but I believe personally more in hot and cold and finish with cold. And the place I plan on going to will also have saunas, but the data is actually way better on hot springs than saunas. But it's so hard to find hot springs, but that's what I'm going to be doing. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see. What's the next one? Seek truth now. Eat for health is very rewarding. It is. I mean, I've been rewarded. I'm very happy with it and stay diligent. You can eat something delicious and it tastes good for that moment, but then you end up regretting it later or you just don't feel good. Like I break out in acne. I got terrible acne when I don't eat right. And when I started eating healthier, all my life when I was young, I was like, how do I get rid of acne? No dermatologist could figure it out. It was so stupid. Wasted money, stupid pills, nothing worked. And the moment I started cleaning up my lifestyle, all these years later, and then all the acne was going away, and I was like ecstatic. I felt like I just found the holy grail or something. I was like, oh my God, what's going on here? And it was just eating right. I used to not be very healthy. Okay. Joe Hawkins, re-glaucoma. Is it worth buying the hydro eye masks? I've only ever seen them used in advertisements from China, Korea. Eye masks. I don't think so. I mean, I mean, I know that I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but you need to get a piece of equipment that's going to be safe that makes hydrogen properly. I don't trust the Chinese stuff anymore. I hate to say that. I just don't. I've seen too much data. I don't trust the stuff from China, and I don't trust anything that uses lye. Um, and I won't go. I don't like to talk about the things I don't like. There's reasons why I don't. I'll just say that if it were me for glaucoma, you're going to be having to use hydrogen for a long time. So one of the things that I found about hydrogen machines is that most of them are unreliable. The one that I use, the Hydrofix, is like the Toyota of hydrogen machines. It's really reliable, and it makes the hydrogen cleanly and properly. That's what I would do. But do what you want, but that's what I would do if you want my opinion. Okay. I would not use anything from China or Korea. By the way, the Korean machines, they use Chinese parts. Okay, thanks so much. You're welcome, Tracy. Ablaze, thank you. Gold 590. What do you think about turpentine for parasites? I've used it before. I would use it as a last resort. I would not be using it regularly. I have used it. I prefer other ways of dealing with parasites. But if that's all you got, then that's fine. Just make sure to use it right, because I've known people who've really hurt themselves with turpentine for parasites. Yeah, some pretty bad stuff if you do it wrong. Seek truth now. Good ideas regarding colds. Like I said, proper vitamin D levels, some zinc, some good vitamin C. Don't be eating processed sugars, and do some length fasts where your body just depletes itself of any sugars, because viruses like to feed on sugar. That's what I would do. Okay, Terry Dalcos, you're a legend, Greg. Really? I'm a living legend. Thank you. I got the rebounder. Oh, there you go. Yep, the mini trampoline. That's really good. Oh, good for you. In the morning, always puts a smile on my face. Part of my new morning routine. Hey, that's really smart. It moves the lymphatic system. There basically is no organ that really moves the lymphatic system, and gets things moving. That's another thing the hydrogen does. If you ever see the way it moves the blood, yeah, good stuff. I have a theory about it also moving your lymphatic system, but there's no research or data on it yet. Seek truth now. This is great info. Thanks. You're welcome. All right, guys. No more questions from what I can see. So if there's any, this is your last chance. Thanks for all the thumbs up. Thanks for joining the live crew, even though I was gonna say there is no crew. It's just me. There is no crew. Actually, I am gonna have more hydrogen water. And I know you guys already know how I drink it, but for those who are still asking or wondering how I do it, I'm just gonna pour what I want. I'm not gonna have a full glass. Oh, look at that. My machine's asking for water. We'll see. Let's add it. So I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys know how to add water to the Hydrofix, but that's just, they do, you know, it's funny, this design, they did it for a reason. So I use this little cup, this measuring cup, but they actually, they do it to keep the machine clean. Instead of having water in a reservoir, it gets really dirty in a reservoir. So I put 50 milliliters, which this is a pre-measured cup, so I know how much 50 milliliters is. And I just poured it in the machine really carefully, right into the filter. It's so easy. And that's it. It's good to go again. And I keep this thing of clean water. Here I got my own hydrogen station there. And the hydrogen water I poured a second ago. Thank you. Much great information, Monique. You're welcome. Monique Wesdale. And let's see. Oh, Terry Delcos. My girlfriend has hormone issues. Can the Hydrofix help her? Now, that's an interesting one, Terry, because it really depends on what's affecting it. I've known multiple people who've had very good improvement with their hormones. But if there's something that's throwing it off, is also the issue. You know, this is one thing that almost nobody talks about. I'll give you my opinion in a second. Hold on. Ever heard of using xylitol for small intestinal fungus? Not really. I've known about xylitol for a long time. Great in gum. But if you know, for intestinal fungus, well, for one, certain foods that I would eliminate, I actually would do definitely hydrogen. There are studies for fungals, I would actually do the bile salts for some of that too on an empty stomach. Okay, let's see here. Whose question was I answering? Um, hmm, where was I? My girlfriend has hormone issues. Oh yeah. See, that's one of the interesting theories that I have is anytime you take in something with hormone, it's going to affect your hormones. That's why I don't like meat. It's got natural hormone in it, or unnatural, either way. Seafood, dairy. Um, those are the things I don't like those things because of the hormone. And this is just the way that my brain works because when you take in hormones, I would leave that as a very last resort. Like maybe someday when I'm like, I don't know, 90, maybe 80, like whenever I feel that I'm just like at the end of my life, I might do like, I don't know if I will, but I'm just saying that I would consider doing something like TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, when I'm really old and I'm just so weak and I'm like, and I'm like, hey, try the TRT and make you feel like $1,000,000. But I know a lot of people doing TRT who are in their 30s and people doing it in their 40s and people doing it in their 50s. I wouldn't do it that early. I don't want to throw off my own ability to make testosterone. And that's one of the things I'm going to do. I'm doing an experiment that I believe I created a protocol to help with testosterone. So anyway, I don't know if that's saying too much, but okay. I think the hydrogen would definitely help her though. Actually, one of the people that I'm thinking of had a major hormone issue. She didn't want to change anything in her life, and she only did the hydrogen. It changed her life. So it totally fixed these issues that she had forever. And she was using all sorts of stuff. She tried. She was trying to heal herself for years, and the Hydrofix fixed her up. So that was one of the interesting stories. The Marilinga tree leaves, super easy, super cheap, super powerful nutrition. It is awesome. Okay. Well, there's always some supplement out there. Okay. FYI, I'll just stick with nutrition. I mean, I'm open to other things, but these days there's just too many fads. I'd have to research the crap out of it. Okay, she's doing juice cleanse and she's also vegetarian, Terry. Okay, well, just because someone's vegetarian doesn't mean a lot to me these days. Because, well, as I say, French fries and beer are vegetarian. Um, I think eggs and cheese are considered vegetarian. They both have hormone in them. Um, I do more plant based, but hydrogen is kind of one of the magical things out there. So if other things don't work, I combine it with just about everything else. Can you become too dependent on hydrogen? Um, can you become too dependent on food? Can you become too dependent on nutrients? Can you become too dependent on heat for your home? I don't know. I mean, I'm dependent on vitamin D. I mean, I don't want to live without taking vitamin D. I'm going to be taking vitamin D for the rest of my life. The body, it's not easy to keep your vitamin D levels, and it's crucial to keep them up. Am I dependent on water? I am. If I don't drink water, I don't feel so good. And if I don't have water for 3, 4, 5 days, I'll probably die. So I'm dependent on water. So if I'm going to be dependent on water, I'm going to choose the best water, which is clean water. And same thing goes for hydrogen. I mean, I remember my dad would stop taking hydrogen on these long vacations and different stuff. And I think one time he went without it for like 4 months and his symptoms started coming back as far as arthritis and whatnot. But it took 4 months. So I'll go without hydrogen for a few weeks. I'll even go without it for a few months. It's not a huge deal. But if I have access to it, I'm definitely going to use it. And I prep my body for the times that I'll do things that are either not good for me or that I have to be without certain things. So like I hate traveling. I don't want to get on a plane with a bunch of people. I don't want to eat airplane food. I don't want to drink any water on the airplane, but I'll prep my body for it so that I can just get on there and fast the whole time. And it's like, I don't want anything that you guys are giving me. Um, and just try to get through it, build the body up so I can take the abuse of this life. But then the moment I land and stuff, and I'll set myself all up again. So I don't know if that answers your question, but um, you won't get, I don't think that you'll get dependent on hydrogen the way that you would become dependent on like oxygen would actually be the better question because if you use oxygen regularly, it's a problem. Your body will begin to make less red blood cells and it'll have issues. But oxygen is very different than hydrogen, you know. And so hydrogen, it seems just like vitamin D, like we need it. So anyway, okay. Seek truth. Acne is caused by junk food for me too. Thanks, sharing acne info. Yeah, I mean, literally, it was just heated oils. That's what was causing my acne. It was just fried food, stir fried, deep fried, heated oils and ingredients, stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, clean up my diet, clean up my skin. It was so great. All right, Joe Hawkins. Sorry, Greg. I probably didn't phrase my question very well. I have a Hydrofix Premium. Would attaching an eye mask be better than nose cannula? I don't think so, because inhaling is going to go right through the sinuses. It's going to affect your eyes. Drinking the water, doing the protocol of the water and the inhalation, in my opinion, um, would be really good for the eyes. And I mean, from people having improved vision, even my vision, I don't need glasses now, and I used to use glasses. And so many people that I've known, it's really weird. Never expected vision to get better, but okay. How do you feel about semen retention for health? Dream Labyrinth. How do I feel about semen retention for health? It's most likely a good thing in my opinion, so it's probably a good thing. But I think it all depends on circumstances, you know. Um, I also think that if you have a partner that you're really in love with, and I think it's important to have a good intimate relationship. That's just my opinion. But you know what? What if there's two people who are in love and they don't need intimacy in their life? Then there's people who feel like they do need it. So I think it just depends, but I think retaining it can potentially be good for health. I think there's a lot of conflicting data on that sometimes. Some data shows that it's not good, but in ancient wisdom, it could be good. So, got to listen to your own body, I guess. You know, I don't know if that answers your question, but okay. Dale G. I had the acne issue too, cystic acne. Doctors would prescribe, a drug. Obviously, it never worked. I realized it was fungal. There you go. Yeah, like I said, I didn't expect me changing my lifestyle to fix my skin. I didn't expect it to fix a lot of things, and I ended up getting so rewarded, and I was doing it for so many other reasons, and I'm very grateful for health, my body, and that's the reason that I choose to live the way that I do, even though people oftentimes give me a hard time. Um, but I just like the results. I like to feel good. Okay. How long does it take for your acne to come back after eating poorly? For me, oh man, if I eat poorly one day, I'll start getting pimples. If I eat unhealthy for probably 2 to 4 weeks, I'll have acne for sure. Yeah, I get acne quick. Like just all it takes is one meal. That's all it takes. I'll have pimples before the night's out. That's just me though. I got a problem, with that. Okay, Michael Merritt. My Hydrofix triggers my MCAS, causes histamine-like flares, which is really odd considering it's highly anti-inflammatory. Is there something immune modulating aspect to hydrogen? Well, yeah, I think one of the things that I think because it begins to bring balance back, there's been people throughout the years that have had like there was this one lady, her legs were really bad. I think she was getting terrible circulation to her legs, and hydrogen started, I think, in my opinion, bringing the blood back in. And she was like, she said it hurt so bad. She goes, my legs are so painful. Well, if you've ever thought of when your leg falls asleep and then you start getting blood again. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up, guys. Some people were doing that. You start getting blood supply again and things begin to get modulated again and start bringing the homeostasis back in. And it's tough. I mean, like I had issues with, one of the things that I had a really like problem with was, hypoglycemia. Like I'd get sick and I just immediately want to go eat some sugar or carbohydrate or something. Um, and I would never be able to go to sleep without eating. And all those things are definitely gone. But it was not an easy road to to get to where I'm at now. Like right now, I can even feel a little bit of hunger pain right now in my stomach. But you know what? I'm cool. I can handle it. Before I would have been like, no, I can't handle it. But no, I'm fine with it now. You know, and I remember reading that feeling hunger is actually triggers a lot of very positive things for health in the body. So when I feel the hunger, I just tell myself, hey, that's a good thing. It's not like I'm going to starve, I'm not going to starve to death, you know. So I'm not too worried about it. Now, if I go hungry for 40 days or 30 days or whatever, it starts getting painful, especially, I was like 100 and I don't know, I was like 110 pounds or something the last time I did a really long fast. I was getting pretty thin. And I'm getting pretty thin again because I've been doing a lot of whether it's fasting or even intermediate fasting. And but I finally noticed that my weight finally stopped. And I haven't been doing any exercise. I'm doing some weird protocols. I've been experimenting with some stuff. So, but I'm doing it because I want to bring you guys some good info in the near future. And also because I was trying to show somebody that it can be done. Somebody who just like, no, it can't be done. I'm like, it can be done. And so I'm trying to be a good role model. Okay, thanks for taking my questions, Michael Merritt. Yeah, you're welcome, brother. Okay, well, all right. I guess that's the end of it, guys. No more questions that I see. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for all the thumbs up. And I'll see you guys next one. I'll see you next one. I'll see you on the next one. All right, guys. Have a good night. God bless you too, Dale G. Thank you. Thank you. Wish you guys all the best. If there's any other questions, this is it. I'm about to hang up. All right, till next time.